What is up, guys? FruitCakeTech here with another video on why yes you should wait for Ryzen 3 if you're building your PC right now in July to August of 2017. Now let's focus on the Ryzen 3 1200 because personally I think that's the better deal right now. Coming in with 4 cores and 4 threads at $110, this puts it in direct competition with the Intel's Pentium and i3 processors that had long been the kings in this price range. Now, why do I say that you should buy this over these processors? Well, apart from the fact that it has 2 more physical cores, you can also overclock it. And this CPU only has 65 watts, meaning that with something like a 212 Evo, you could bring the base speed of 3.1 GHz up to something like 3.5 or 3.7. And if you got something even better, I don't see why this wouldn't hit 4 GHz. Also is the upgradability. If you bought this processor with a decent B350 motherboard, later on you could buy a Ryzen 5 or 7 CPU and you'd still be able to overclock it without having to change your motherboard. Unlike the Pentium or i3, you'll most likely get a B150 or H110M motherboard, and while yes, this would be cheaper, at first you couldn't overclock it. So if you wanted to overclock it, you would have to buy a new CPU and a new motherboard. But with the AMD processor, you can overclock it right out of the box. Now onto some of the specs, even though I already mentioned some. The stock speed is 3.1 GHz, it turbos to 3.4 GHz, it has 8 MB of L3 cache, 2 MB of L2 cache, DDR4 support, and you get an AMD Wraith stealth cooler included. So unlike Intel stock cooler, you don't even need to buy a CPU cooler to overclock this bad boy. You could just use a stock cooler and get it up to 3.5 to 3.7 stable. It also has, now hear me out, 16 PCIe lanes or 2 8X lanes. What this means is if you get an AMD video card like an RX 580, which this CPU does not bottleneck by the way, you could in theory crossfire them. Now no, I don't condone this, and by that point the CPU would definitely be bottlenecked, but if you wanted to, I guess you could. Now right now the CPU is sold out, but I'll make sure to drop links in the description if you guys want to check the CPU out. Alright guys, that was today's video. Let me know if you enjoy these quick information type videos. I'll try to make more of these in the future. Also, all criticism is appreciated, whether good or bad, in the comments below. And as always, stay fruity.